Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wise Tech for Wise Money, the podcast where we speak with business owners, entrepreneurs, founders, and financial and property professionals about their journey, their market, the problems they solve, and how technology systems and better business thinking can help them grow. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Shelley Hoffman, the broker and owner of HHC Realty, based in Baldwinsville, Central New York. Shelley's business is not just another real estate brokerage. HHC stands for Heart, Home and Community, and that really tells you a lot about the way Shelley approaches property. Her work is built around people, relationships, education, trust and the local community. Shelley is also a licensed real estate broker, an approved real estate educator in New York State, a speaker, a podcast host, and the creator of Serve, Don't Sell, approach to real estate and business growth. What I particularly liked when I looked at Shelley's work is that she is not presenting real estate as simply buying and selling houses. She's presenting it as helping people make one of the biggest decisions of their lives, while also helping agents, business owners, and entrepreneurs build more meaningful and sustainable businesses. Shelley, welcome to our show, Wise Tech for Wise Money. Before we get started on real estate, maybe we can start with your journey, how you came to be doing what you're doing, how you decided to establish Serve, Don't Sell, and your whole basically approach to the business.
Well, I would love to tell you, Gary, that I had like this 5-year plan, 10-year plan to make it happen. But the reality of it is I just got into real estate about 10 years ago. And as I was navigating that industry, the world of a single mom, it was kind of just a one step at a time approach to getting where I am today. My background is in education, so the teaching piece came very natural to me. But it was really the serve, don't sell, that more recent, that I realized kind of sums up everything that I've done for the last 10 years. And so I'm kind of excited that you asked me to be on the podcast to talk about it a little bit, because it is probably the newest way that I present myself and the brokerage itself, because it came about organically. And then one day we just realized like that's really been our brand. So it's exciting. But I did get into real estate. I apologize. I did get into real estate because of a divorce. So just to start from the beginning, I was never an entrepreneur in my 20s and 30s. It really didn't happen until I was in my 40s.
So, I mean, you said that you got into real estate because of your divorce. What was actually the trigger? And how did you start?
Yeah, so, the funny thing about real estate, and I hear it all the time from other people now, is people want to get into the business without really understanding what the business is. So we moved a lot. Actually, before you and I went on the air, I told you about Nashville, Tennessee. We had looked at purchasing a house when I was married. Our marriage is kind of coming to an end, and, sometimes to save the marriage, you maybe... people say they have a baby to see if they could save it, or get a puppy, or they move and, uproot their lives. And that's kind of what we had thought about doing, was uprooting our lives and moving and starting fresh. But we didn't. We stayed in Baldwinsville. But in the journey of looking for the Nashville house, our real estate agent said to me, "You'd make a great realtor. You're good with people. You like to learn," which I think is key in any business, is you need to learn as well as guide. And I thought I'd have a flexible schedule. You don't have a flexible schedule in real estate, but I thought I would have a flexible schedule, that I'd be able to still attend all my kids' events and whatnot. So it was a choice to, how can I make money and support myself and support my kids and still be able to attend the PTA meetings, the soccer games, all the things that the kids were involved in. And that's why I chose real estate. It was not the reason to choose real estate, honestly. I'm glad I'm in it, but those things were not true, to be honest.
How did you actually get started? Did you get a job, or did you just start as a sole agency?
Yeah, so I started, I had 2 friends that worked for a franchise brokerage, And when I approached them about being in real estate, they were interested in me getting my license because they were very high producers and they kind of needed somebody to run their open houses, show their buyers properties so that they could focus on listings and some other portions of their business. So I took the real estate classes, the test, and I joined that franchise. But what I realized is I really wanted to focus on education. And being an educator, I thought being from a smaller brokerage, more people would be inclined to send their agents to my classes because I wouldn't be recruiting them to join my larger brokerage. And that is true, at least in my area, by being in a smaller one. So one of the people I was friends with at the brokerage, her and I started our own little boutique brokerage about six or 7 years ago. Her and I started that brokerage together, and it worked out really well. But it was her vision, it was her branding, it really was her brokerage. I always tell people she allowed me to be a part of her business. So about 2 years ago, I left that partnership and I started my own business with my own branding and my own mission statement and stuff. And it's been great.
So on your site, you talk about change, independence, rebuilding and finding purpose. Tell me about, you stepped away from your friends' branding and business, although obviously you were meant to be a key part of it. How have you changed what you do compared to what other people do, what she did, and what is your branding and message?
So one of that brand, and I'll give her a shout out here. It's called 315 Realty Partners. And that brand was based on knowledge, experience. So we were really looking to have agents join that brokerage that were already established and bringing their professionalism into our brokerage. My branding is more about education. And what I found is I was gravitating towards new agents. And that really didn't mix well with the brand of that brokerage. Even though she allowed it, she said, by all means, bring on people and educate them. But I was starting, to teach the salesperson course for our board of directors because, as you mentioned, I am an educator for the state of, approved through the state of New York. So I was bringing on people that had no experience, they had no knowledge, and my branding is really about teaching and guiding and educating. The serve, don't sell came from the way that I built my business. I built my business by being involved in the community, by being a Rotarian, and I was surrounding myself with people who did a lot for the community. I'm a trustee at my church now. None of those things were part of my life when I was married, before getting into real estate. And I never really found myself pushing real estate like, hey, do you want to buy or sell a property? But by showing up to the events, by volunteering my time, it's an organic way to talk about what you do and to learn about other people. And that was kind of how I built my business, by building the trust, by building the relationship. And then it started with people referring me to other people. And now a lot of the community where I live, they use me as the real estate person as well.
Is everything done remote, or do people have offices now in where you live?
It is a mix. So you're sitting in I'm sitting in my brokerage, is what you're looking at behind me. It's usually empty. We do virtual tours. We can do Zoom meetings. We do still like in person. We're a very small community here, but we have a company called Micron. If anybody's heard of Micron, it's a huge chip company. They're moving here to Central New York. So we are having a lot more remote tours and Zoom meetings with people because they're in California. They're all over the country, if not all over the world. And now they're interested in my little niche of Central New York.
So how do you bring in new agents? By educating them, by offering an education course, or for the exam, or how does it work?
So the agents that I have with me right now, a couple of them I met. They were neighbors. They watched me through the community and they wanted to join my brokerage based on the way that I presented myself. The new agents, some of them they came through my salesperson course and we built that relationship. You're not allowed to recruit in that course, but you see them out in events, out through the just through the community itself, and I've had them reach out to me and just ask me if I was taking on new agents. We are small, Gary, because I'm very particular about who I bring into the brokerage, because I also work. So I don't sit in the office and manage people. I'm out in the community as well, working with clients.
So the name Heart, Home and Community, how did you actually come up with that? It's quite an unusual branding.
I actually had a commercial broker told me if I wanted to come to his brokerage, I had to change my branding. So that did not happen. I didn't go to his brokerage, but it was video, right? 7 years ago, everybody was saying you need to do video. Not everyone was doing video, but I was going out into my community and I was doing market updates. So I would approach you and ask you, Gary, to tell me a little bit about your business. And then I would tell you about the market update. And I was doing Tom Ferry coaching at the time, and my coach, Deborah West, she said, you need a tagline. How are people going to remember you? And I worked on it for a long time. I knew community was important to me. Real estate obviously has the word home in it. And I have a branding that is called Real Estate I Love It. That's my teaching brand. And so that's where home for real estate, heart for my Real Estate I Love It branding, and the community, because that's who I serve. And I just put those together almost as a tagline 10 years ago. So I was Shelley Hoffman, your heart, home, community realtor. And then I turned that into a brand, and now it's my brokerage 10 years later.
So how does your philosophy come across when you're dealing with buyers and sellers? What's your approach in actually doing the business and getting clients? Or are you actually not really trying to get clients, just trying to help people?
Really, the clients come from helping people. I find that if I would cold call or I'd really push, a salesy conversation on someone, I'm not the best at that, but I am really good at just listening and having a conversation. And so a lot of my clients come from my church, right? We don't talk real estate at church. We talk about how are we going to help the community. In Rotary, we don't talk about real estate. We talk about how we're helping the community. So it is by helping people. And I do think that when you're helping people, people want to help you back. It's a give and a take kind of a relationship. So in the beginning, by helping others, people wanted to help me. And they pushed out my brand. They pushed out me as a realtor. And one of the best compliments was the Chamber of Commerce president had introduced me to a group. And he said, this is Shelley Hoffman. She's a member of Rotary and a Chamber. And what you don't know about Shelley is how she makes her money. And she makes her money in real estate, but you would never know it. And that really hit me, because I thought, wow, I didn't realize how little I talked about real estate for how well my business actually grows.
How many people in your business? How many agents do you have?
In my brokerage, we only have 6. We're 2 years in. My goal to have the most I want to have is 10. Now, my daughter has her real estate license. She's had it for a year. As Taylor gets more into the business, if she wants to grow it, if she wants to get a satellite office, I feel that what I've created is kind of like a the ground level. And if my daughter wants to take it, I will help and support her to take it where she wants to go. But I want to focus on talking to people, teaching people. And in order for me to do that effectively, Gary, I think 10 is probably the max people that I can manage myself. But I'd love to see what my daughter can do with this as she gets older.
So why is Baldwinsville so important to you and so key?
So did you ever watch the Andy Griffith show where he lived in Mayberry? You know what I'm talking about?
I remember it, yeah.
And a lot of people probably don't. It's a very old show. It's black and white. But when I moved up here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we lived in a community called Radisson, which people would say is kind of like a gated HOA community. And when you left Radisson and you went to the left, you have your main stores. So here we have Target and the big grocery stores, McDonald's. And then you turn right and there's this little village, which has grown tremendously in 10 years. But this village, they look after each other. Everybody's here to help. Businesses collaborate instead of compete. And I find that to be very unique. I've traveled a lot. I've lived in a lot of places. And there's just something about Baldwinsville You really need to come visit. If you ever want to, when you come back over to the States, I'll give you a tour of my community. Central New York is great, but what keeps me here in Baldwinsville is the fact that businesses help each other. It's not just me. I mean, I think the culture of my brokerage comes from the community in which I live in. It's how we are with each other.
What sort of the houses in that Baldwinsville you're selling, are they mid housing, higher housing? What sort of price range do they cover?
Sure. So when 20 years ago, Baldwinsville was all farms. And I would say in the last like 7 years, those farms are turning into housing because we have very much a shortage of housing here. So the really cool thing about Baldwinsville is you have houses that are 150 years old, almost 200 years old, and you have houses that are 2 months old. You just have this variety. When I got my license in 2016, you could get a home in Baldwinsville for $79,000, $89,000. That was very was small, but move-in ready. That same house, since post-COVID and people moving into our area, that same house is about $220,000. So in less than 10 years, more like 5 or 6 years, we have gone from $79,000 house to a $220,000. We also now have houses that are $1.2 million in our community. 10 years ago, you did not have that. Maybe $300,000, $400,000. It's
Well, it must be a beautiful place to live.
It is. And we have water. So I think I mentioned to you, we had fireworks last night for the Independence Day celebration of our village. And we have the Seneca River that goes through. We have the canal system in Baldwinsville. We have a lock system here in Baldwinsville. It's just an amazing community.
Tell me, your website talks about community, obviously, and clients feel like neighbours, not just customers. How do you protect that as you expand? And if your daughter comes in and sets up a satellite office where she lives, how do you keep that, that overview, that culture going?
So when you interview and you're having conversations, and I like to think of it as a conversation, not an interview. When people approach me, I talk them out of joining my brokerage first. I really want to make sure this is where they need to be. And two of my top agents, when they asked me about joining the brokerage, and they one of them, Maureen, was new, I said, this isn't the place for you. I don't have the time to focus, to train you because I'm out working. We do a lot with the community. We have a recycling drive coming up next month. We are very involved, and you're building your business. I don't want to take away from your business. And if they come back to me, so they go out and they interview other brokerages, and they come back to me and they say, this is why I want to be part of your brokerage. So with us, Gary, it's not about numbers. It's not about, I say sometimes companies will cast a large net and then you sink or swim. With us, we'd rather tell you this probably isn't the best fit for you. Go see what else is out there, and then have another conversation with me later if it's something you want to explore more. And so I've had conversations where they haven't come back to me, and that just means they're not a good fit. When so I have Taylor listen in. She's part of conversations. She is her own person. Maybe she'll change the motto, but if she does have to change the branding. But Taylor volunteers. Taylor works at the candy shop. She works at the Village Hardware. She already has a reputation in the community for being quite the little volunteer. So I think that's just something that she's naturally going to carry with her. But we'll see. Time will tell.
What about the number of agents optimum you want? I mean, do you have a number that you'd like to get to, or you just want to let it grow organically?
I definitely want to grow organically. I have 10, like I said, in my head, but we're so new, and a lot of my agents are less than 5 years in the business. If the agents that I currently have really become more independent, they're not asking me, we have a weekly meeting where it's more just let's stay connected, so that we have group text messages. If somebody needs help, it goes out to the group, and there's never anyone that can't help. It might be me, it might be my daughter, but a lot of times it's another agent. My goal is never to get so big that the brokerage isn't connected, that we have a sense of community within the brokerage itself. And if that starts to go away, then I either let in the wrong agent, or we've grown too much.
Excellent. I mean, tell me about serve, don't sell. And tell me what that's all about and how that came about.
So I'm writing a book, and actually it's at the final stages. And I think when you write a book, you learn more about yourself. There's a lot of reflection that happens. And I had mentioned Deborah West, my business coach from Tom Ferry, and she had said something to me that really stuck. And we're going back to 2017. But when I was writing the book, I felt it was very important to include a chapter about her, because she was the key to me making it or breaking it in real estate. I would not be sitting here talking to you if I did not have her as a coach in the beginning. And I told her, I'm like, I remember having a meltdown, and I said, I just don't know where my business is going. I don't know where my business is coming from. I don't know, this is a long-term profession for me. I think we all have those moments. And she said, because it was Zoom, so I could see her face, and she smiled and she said, I wish you could see in you what I see in you and where you're going. She said, in the beginning of our conversation, she told me, don't sell your community, serve your community. And when we were having this conversation, she said, you are such a pillar in your community already, and you're so new in the business. You just need to remember that you serve your community, you don't sell your community. So she said it to me twice. And when I was writing the book and I was trying to really capture in just a small chapter what she did for me, that quote came out. And I wrote in the book, serve your community, don't sell your community. And I'm kind of tearing up now, and I thought, yeah, that's 100% accurate. And that's how I built my business. We serve, don't sell. So I shortened the phrase from serve your community, don't sell your community, to serve, don't sell. And I feel like I've been doing that all along. I just didn't know it until I wrote it in the book.
I think in all business you should serve and not sell. No one wants to be sold to.
No.
Everyone needs a solution solved. Everyone needs to be looked after and their hand held. Too many people are obviously out there just trying to make a buck. And they don't actually worry about what the end result is. So I think serve, don't sell should be applied to numerous businesses, and actually that could be a good business for you.
So
tell me what? Yeah, you could teach so many business owners. It doesn't matter about real estate, how to serve and not sell. But what do you think the little things are?
I apologize.
Sorry, go on.
I was a little bit delayed. I just got the course approved from the Department of State from New York for real estate. So I'm going to teach it in real estate, fine tune it. But you're absolutely right. My goal is to push it out to other business owners to see if I can come into their corporations and talk to them about it. But having New York State approve it was huge for me, because normally they only approve code of ethics and agencies and, the key things that the state cares about. And I felt like this is New York State saying it is about serving the community. And the fact they approved it, I was so excited. That just happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think that's well done. Congratulations. So tell me, what are the little things that people can do, such as you in real estate and other businesses, where actually you're seen to be serving and not selling?
So I think the most important thing, and this is what I tell my agents and my friends who ask me about it, is what are you passionate about and what do you care about, right? Because if you don't care about it, it's going to come off as fake. It's going to come off as people aren't going to think you're authentic. So if you're into sports, what can you do in the sports community to serve? And I have friends who their kids have moved past little leagues, but yet they're still involved in boosters. There's a gentleman in my Rotary Club, his daughter graduated from our high school, but he's still involved in the pet band. And he's not doing it because it brings him business. He's doing it because his heart is still there and he loves it and he's serving. So he has the knowledge from the 6 years of his daughter doing it, and he's sharing that knowledge of how to make it successful for the people coming. But if you're not passionate about it, I would say don't waste your time. So one of my agents will not join Rotary, at least not right now, but she is the first one to volunteer at 90% of our organizations because she loves it. We have things that are backpack programs. So if you care about hungry children, we have backpack programs that feed the kids in our community. what is it that you're passionate about? And if you're passionate about it, are you sitting in front of the TV just mindlessly watching television? Or can you find something that's out in our world to do? And, people say, well, I love video games. There's nothing wrong with loving video games, but how can you take that passion that you have and either teach or help somebody else? And maybe it's donating or collecting video games for kids who don't have the money to get the equipment. There's always a way to help people. What are you passionate about, and how can you apply that passion into helping other people? It has nothing to do with your business, right? Video games has nothing to do with maybe being a financial advisor, but your business is going to be helped by helping other people, in my opinion.
How do you then balance empathy and looking after people with actually needing to close, obviously, some business?
So I do believe in manifesting things. I don't know if you do or not, but when I focus a lot more on the community or my kids, like when my kids were going to college, I felt like maybe my business was slipping. So you have to change your focus. Like if you're not focused on your business isn't going to be there. So whether you believe in manifesting or not, but I might sit here and say, I need to close 10 deals. I need to close 10 deals so that I can continue to do what I love to do. Because if I'm not closing the deals, Gary, I can't be out in the community, right? I have to be able to pay my bills. And so just that little switch of where is my focus? My focus is on my business, but why did my focus have to go to my business? It has to go to my business so I can continue to do what I love. And probably isn't the answer people want to hear, but naturally the business will come. But it's not because I'm knocking on someone's door saying, I need business to keep serving the community. It's a mental shift that I have that says, hey, you need to rein this back in. Even just you and I having this conversation, part of it is how do I brand out past Baldwinsville, right? I have a book coming out. I have courses that I want to teach. And the fact that you sent me an email and said, hey, I was on your website, I was like, wow, thanks, Gary. And now you and I are having this conversation. So organically, I think if you put yourself out there, people like you enter my life and other people's lives. And I appreciate that you take the time to allow people like myself to tell this story and get it out there to more people.
Tell me about your book. Where's it going to be published and where will we be able to buy it?
So I'm working on a landing page on my website, which is shelley-hoffman.com, for people to be able to do pre-sale orders. That'll probably be within the next couple weeks. But the book, because real estate is so busy during the summer and spring, summer, and fall, that we're probably going to do the book launch at the end of September. Because at that point, people get a little bit more settled in their homes at the end of summer. They're getting ready. They're wrapping up their vacations because the kids are getting ready to go back to school, college. It's a transition period. So I'm thinking the end of September is when we're going to do the book launch.
Will that be on Amazon, do you think?
It'll be on Amazon. I'm using a woman, Unleash Your Inner Author. And you want to talk about people that give back. She wrote a book, Gary, and she had all of these roadblocks that she didn't know were in place. So she started her own company to help people like me. So those roadblocks are smoothed out for you. And she's been amazing. One step at a time, she's been helping me.
Fantastic. Going back to your agents and your business, you said you work on an 80-20 split. Do you actually, obviously the 20% is not going to make you a fortune. You obviously need a lot of agents to actually make that work for you. Do you do a lot of sales in your own name?
I do sales in my own name. If it is a personal relationship to me, someone from my church, someone from my core group of friends, then I do it solely for me. If a call comes into the brokerage, I give it to the agents. If it's a referral of a friend, then I'll keep my name as a point of contact, but I bring another agent in with me. And that's one of the training pieces. And I think that's one of the things that new agents appreciate is the fact that I will co-list. So it's not their business, it's my business, but I will co-list with them. And then that gives them that guided hands-on experience with me. But I still have a lot of stake in it. So the client has the peace of mind because they still have me, but they understand that because of my philosophy that I'm educating and I'm training and I'm bringing somebody else along so that eventually they can go out on their own, and their friends and family will then trust them to use them by themselves in a transaction. So that is my training model, is they train with me. And when I do that, we do a 50-50 split. I don't take the 80-20, it is a 50-50, but it would have been 100% my business without them. So
That's very good. What do agents need to be successful? What do they need to understand to be successful?
I think first and foremost, they need to understand that we work on other people's time schedules. If for my brokerage, I understand there are some people that, hey, they run their business from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. But if you're at my brokerage and you're doing, we believe in serve, don't sell, you meet people where they are. And if somebody works until 9 o'clock at night, you don't take them on as a client if you're not willing to have a conversation with them at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, right? Or you work with them in the morning. So it's the flexibility. If somebody says to me that they're in real estate just for passive income, that's not for my brokerage, because it's very hard to put your clients, I don't want to say first, your kids, your spouse, your family should be there. But with the serve, don't sell, you're really there to service and help them. It's not about you. And if somebody has it's about them attitude, that's not somebody that I want here at the brokerage. So the flexibility, understanding that your time is not always your own time is huge to me. If you're going to make it, response time is big. If you put your phone on do not disturb at 6 p.m., that's a question I ask. I'm like, is your phone ever not available to you? And if they say yes, and then are you good at boundaries? So I don't necessarily take calls after 6 p.m., but I would have a conversation with you and say, hey, if you need me for an emergency, I want you to call me, I want you to text me. If you have a question that can be answered whenever, can you please email me? So one of the things that we do at the brokerage very quickly is we set expectations and boundaries. And what are your expectations? What are your boundaries? Do they match with the brokerage expectation and boundaries? And how are you going to express those to your clients? Because I feel like the people that are unhappy, that will put bad reviews out there, will talk poorly about you, it's because you didn't set the expectations for what they can anticipate from you in that communications. And you and I haven't talked about AI or anything like that, but we use AI a lot to help set those boundaries, communications, how to talk to different people the best way, different ways of explaining the same thing, because not everybody understands the same verbiage or the same conversation patterns as others. So I love using AI in my training. So role playing, if you have a question, how would you answer it? Hey, let's see how, Claude would answer it or Chat GPT would answer it. And it's a way to expand training without just hearing my voice the entire time. So part of it is, are you open to other ways of thinking? And if you're black and white, I don't think real estate is for you either. So I probably jumped around a little bit for you, but
no, that's good. I think AI is important. And obviously I do a lot of work in AI, but I don't. I try not to talk about tools or sell tools. I'm not really a tool person. I'm more of a system person. I like to look at, what AI can do for a business or individual, on an educational point of view or a systemized point of view, to actually improve their life, improve what they're doing, give them less manual hours and, more freedom and more opportunities to help people and make money as well. I think a lot of people just concentrate on tools, and individual tools do help, but I think it's putting AI together as a system that's the most important thing. Probably on education, it can be amazing. If you put the education size, then you can obviously cater to a much larger audience.
so
Do you think? Go on.
I was just going to ask your opinion on bots. So this is a big thing in real estate right now. We've talked about this at our brokerage meetings a few times, like the automatic responses, right? Like in real estate, a lot of times we talk about the fact, is this person a legitimate client, or are they somebody who just is always inquiring about real estate? Like, is this somebody that's going to move forward? And that's one of the conversations we have with AI, and you mentioned systems, is do we want to incorporate something into the brokerage, I struggle with that. So you're asking me a lot about how I feel, is because with my branding, I always think people should have access, right, to my actual thoughts and things like that. But I got to be honest, I feel like I'm getting like I'm old. So if you go to my website, I'm always about ever changing and evolving. I love to keep up with the times and stuff. So, and you talk to a lot of people. So one of the things that I'm curious with I never want to go stale. I never want to not be, moving to where the world is going. So with you, and you just mentioned systems and AI, how do you feel like for my brokerage or for real estate, where those automatic responses and things are? And I apologize if I took you off topic. I'm just curious.
I think you keep a personal touch. I think you keep a personal branding. I think you use the systems and the AI behind the scenes to help you deliver better and quicker and more efficiently. I don't think you take away the personal touch. Yeah, you could have, on your website, maybe an AI bot if it was needed, if you ever got that busy, that could pick up an initial call. But at the end of the day, it always comes back to Shelley, always has Shelley on it, always has Shelley's thought process, and Shelley always picks up the phone at some point.
So I'm glad you said that, because I really do. Like, I've had conversations with other brokerages, and and I'm like, am I behind the times? But I feel like with my branding, which is what we're talking about today, I don't want to lose that, So I appreciate that, someone with your knowledge of systems and AI, that the personal touch is still so relevant. My daughter may feel differently, right?
Well, I think if you got personal, if you got personal branding, you got to keep it personal. But the whole point of AI, I think, is to use it to improve what you do. But you keep doing what you do. You just use it so you can be quicker and more efficient.
Yeah,
but you keep yourself at the forefront. That is what you do.
Well, I appreciate that.
What's the future hold for you, Shelley?
Well, I'm hoping if you ask me, my future plans is I'd love for my daughter to take what I created, and I'd love to see what she can do with it, right? Because that's what we want our kids. We want to see what our kids can accomplish and do. For me, I made the mistake of saying this, so hopefully it doesn't become one of those meme clips or whatever, that I don't want to be unlocking doors when I'm 60 years old. And that doesn't mean that I don't want to be doing real estate when I'm 60, which, by the way, that's only 9 years from now. It seemed like a lot longer years ago, but I want to figure out a way that I can help and serve people through real estate, but I can do it while I can travel, right? So I'm talking like 5, 6, 7 years from now. And I'm hoping that technology, whether it's allows us to be even further away. Like I told you, we do Zoom tours and virtual tours, things like that. But I don't want to lose the personal touch with teaching and talking to people.
I don't think you have to. I think you can do both.
You do?
Technology will allow you to do both. Maybe we can help you with that.
That would be great.
So Shelley, So Shelley, in wrapping up, what's your message to everybody?
I think that you need to find what you really are passionate about and whatever brings you joy in life. And you figure out how to incorporate that joy in your life. So with me, it's helping people. I'm able to help people through real estate. So, there's that saying, I've never worked a day in my life. There's definitely frustrating days. There's transactions that go sideways and stuff. But my message to people is, if you're giving back and you find a way to give back that brings you joy, and you can make money, whether through that joy or it's something you can do on the side, you need to be able to pay your bills. If you can't pay your bills, you're going to be stressed out. But once you find a way to pay your bills, how can you add a layer to that to bring the joy with the money and have a life that you absolutely love living? So again, we've talked about serve, don't sell. I love helping people. I love giving back to the community. Real estate allows me to do both. And that's why I truly love what I do and why I have the brand Real Estate. I love it in my teaching. So that's what I would say is, what brings you joy and how do you incorporate it so that you can live the life that you want? Because nobody wants to be miserable, right?
I think you got a great attitude. Great attitude, great offering as well. So where can people find you and get hold of you if they want to learn more about your services, your education philosophy, etc.? Where can we find you?
So I have a website that's just my name with a hyphen, Shelley-Hoffman.com. And on that website, it's kind of a landing spot. So within that, you can get to my podcast, you can get to my brokerage, you can get to my YouTube channel, and eventually you'll be able to get to my book. So if you just Google my name, there is that hyphen in the middle of it. But that's where you can find everything about me, my email, whatnot.
Thanks, Shelley. Well, I think it's been great having you on the show. We're going to send you a copy of this anyway, so you'll be able to put that on your website as well. We'll put it on LinkedIn and all the social medias. I want to thank the people for listening in. I'm Gary Wayne from A1 Solutions International. Great talking to everybody. Great talking to you, Shelley. And hopefully we can catch up in a minute. I really appreciate you being my guest.
Well, thank you for having me. This was fun.
Thank you very much indeed.